I came back today to the place where I grew up, years after swearing I never would. The streets look shorter and narrower, like the years had closed it around them, pressing down the houses, slow and tired, like old dogs. I parked at the start of Ashwood, where we used to play kickball till sunset, until the streetlights flickered on. And I just stood there, half expecting someone to call my name, like back then. But everything was quiet. I walked past the old corner store, which is gone, boarded up. I can still see Mr. Ortega behind the counter, scolding us with a laugh. As we pocketed candy, we swore we'd pay for it tomorrow, but we never did. He was kinder than he let on, more like a father than my own. Some days, I wonder if he's still alive or vanished from the neighborhood. I passed the empty lot where I dared me to climb that ancient oak, branches as twisted as an old man's hands. I'd scrape my knee, hung there, heart pounding, and he just laughed. That laugh that filled the room, that dared the world to challenge him. He didn't laugh much after his mom left, just sat on his front steps with his little sister. Braiding her hair like she was the only thing holding them together. Last I heard, he works 3 towns over at some factory, finishes the night shift to drive straight home, and won't talk to anyone. I wonder if he remembers that tree, if he remembers how it felt to laugh. I moved further down the Lavender Park. It's still there, but the swings are gone. Nothing left but rusted poles, bent sideways from years of storms. I remember Erin leaning back on the swing, pushing it higher, yelling at me to watch her, daring me to keep up, her hair catching the wind, wild and dark, like she was invincible. We used to sit on the monkey bars, our knees pressed together, whispering about the future as if it was some grand secret. I was 14, too young to understand the look in her eyes, the sadness she hid behind all that bravery. She used to talk about her mom's drinking, about the night spent alone, and I'd listen, feeling like I could fix it if I just held on tight enough. We were planning to run away someday. She was the kind of girl who made you believe you could, made you feel like you were already halfway out of town, even when you were just pacing that same square of cracked sidewalk. I saw her some years ago at a grocery store. Her face pale, like she'd seen a ghost. Maybe she did. Maybe she saw what we left in those swings, the pieces we left of ourselves, too fragile for grown-up lives. High school looks smaller now, as if it was hiding from the past. There's a fence around the old baseball field, the one behind the school where we'd play till dark. I remember skipping class, hiding in the bleachers with my friends, and watching games in the afternoon. There was that one game, it must have been spring. The grass just starting to turn green. Danny hit a home run, sprinting around the bases like his life depended on it. He just lost his dad that winter, and his mom was barely holding on. That day, though, he smiled like nothing could touch him, running home as we all cheered, like he'd finally outrun all the pain. A few years later, I heard he joined the army, gone overseas. He came back different, like something inside him had locked itself away. Last time I saw him, he was walking down Ashwood Ave. His face closed off, a stranger in his own hometown. I don't know if he even saw me, or if he even wanted to. Down by the river, there's a new bridge clean and shining, cutting right across the spot we used to meet on Friday nights. Back then it was just us and the water, the smell of moss and wet stones, passing a bottle between us, cheap whiskey stinging our throats. Chris was always there, laughing loud, telling stories about places he'd never been. He had this way of spinning words, made you believe there was more than just this town. Made you think you'd already seen the ocean, the mountains, just by listening to him. He was the first one of us to get out, moved to Chicago, nothing but a duffel bag, sent postcards sometimes, grainy, cheap prints of skyscrapers and busy streets. And then one day, they just stopped. After some time had passed, his brother told me he was living on the streets, that he didn't want to come back. I think about him while I stand by that river. The way he used to look across it like he could already see his future stretching far beyond. And then there's the house at the end of the street, the place where I used to live. The field is a parking lot now, with black asphalt baked in the sun. I see my old home with the porch we would sit on in the summers. Night so hot the air felt thick as syrup. We sit there till sunrise, talking, dreaming, telling ourselves this place would never change, that it would always be here waiting for us. But now the boards are warped. The window is dark and empty. No one lives there anymore. It's just a skeleton of what it was. Like a memory that's faded too far to reach. I stand there at the end of Ashwood Ave, looking at the pieces left behind, wondering if they ever think about this place, if they feel it too. Of this dull ache, this quiet longing for something we can't name. I wonder if Ryan still remembers that tree, if Erin still sees the playground when she closes her eyes, if Chris remembers the river, if Danny still runs in his dreams. Maybe they remember that kid I used to be, full of fire and foolish dreams, swearing I'd never leave. just for a moment, I can hear them, those voices, laughing, shouting, daring the world to touch us. I can almost see us all again. Almost believe we're still here. Still those kids under that wide, endless sky. But then I remember that it's all left in the past. The air is thick with memories, the kind that choke you if you stay too long. So I turn one last time and leave the ghosts on these streets alone.